Hello, everyone. This is Harry. Thank you for coming by this tour. This is a Sunday morning. I'm here in the mountain, in the open air with my wife and my children. There's my wife. She just said, 大家好. That means hello, everyone. Hello, Maureen, Charity, Lisa, Kathleen.
大家上山看采茶，这是我泡的一杯茶。
Lan Lan just said, this is a cup of tea she just brewed. And now we're going to go to the tea fields to show you how people pick the tea buds and leaves around this time of the year. This is the main subject in people's life here around this time of the year. Every family, if they still live here, they go to their tea bushes if they have any. Not every family here has their tea bushes, but most families, they do. Yeah. All right. Yes. This is a small sea of canola flowers. That's appreciated. You probably have heard of the news about the closure of Hegel in just a matter of 8 or 9 days. It's going to be all finished off by April the 11th. This is a bad news, yes. But as I just explained this morning, I'm going to carry this on in a different way. So if you are interested in China, people's life here, and even just my life here, of course, I will show you Chinese people's life and Chinese society through my eyes and through my life. If you're still interested, yeah, you can keep me in touch, keep your eyes on other platforms. And of course, your advice is highly appreciated. If you can tell me, for example, what is a good alternative and how to promote my tours, etc. I appreciate your advice.
今天我准备带着这3个小孩子一起去采茶，采这个茶。
Mindy, do you have a YouTube site? Yes, Mindy, I do have. I had my YouTube site recently, and it's available. You can find it on my profile. Yeah, you can try to search it. And I will also maybe paste a link directly on the post for you to get it easily.
一个马甲带剪成的一个篮筐，然后让他采茶就采到这个里面。看一下，朵朵，看一下。
There were 4 children.
大家好。
My daughter, Gu Lingyun, is her name. And look, this is the bag she is carrying to put the tea leaves later in. It's a very basic, simple one, and used by a lot of the local villagers. Yeah, but of course, also a lot of people, they use the bamboo baskets, woven sometimes nicely, sometimes traditionally. Yeah, but this is a even more simple one, a very basic one. And the other boy here, this boy is my son, and his name is Gu Kaifeng. Our family name is Gu. In Chinese family, my wife doesn't change her family name. Even she's my wife now, she doesn't change her name. It's not a custom here in China. And there is another lady over there. So by the way, there's another girl. The girl leading the way is the daughter of a friend. And we're going to meet the friend later. She's now already in the field picking the tea leaves. And just now we passed another boy. I didn't have a chance to ask what this boy was doing. 兰兰，那个小孩在干嘛？ Oh, that poor boy. He looks a bit of in help. That's the boy. 兰兰，他在等大人是吧？你问他一下。你问他一下，他边上有大人吗？
大人在上面采茶呢。
哦，大人在上面采茶。来， 你看一下他安不安全哦。
不要紧的，他习惯了。
Here's the boy。你家大人在不在啊？啊？
他大人在上面采茶呢。
你在这里不要乱走哦。
他知道的，
好不好？免得到时候大人找不到或者危险。
你吵到哪呢，单位？他不要紧的，他大人在上面采茶不要紧。
大人在上面采茶是吧？你知道的哈。My wife said she knows that the adult who is in charge of this boy is somewhere nearby picking tea leaves. So I just want to make sure. Yeah, this boy, I just told him to be safe. Don't go around too much. Just stay here waiting for his probably grandparents in charge of him. This is very common in China's life. There is a similar version in Chinese cities. Yeah. When you go to a Chinese city, even on the weekends, you also see a lot of children who just go around with their grandparents or parents, even on the weekends. But of course, in the city, there are just a lot of people and different situations. Also, a lot of adults, of course, they take their children to go around, do fun things, do something new, to open eyes for their children, to make But there are 他采了半斤茶叶是吧? Okay. That old man just now who just passed me, my wife pointed out that he picked half jing amount of tea leaves just now, which is like 250 grams. Hello, Jane. Hello, Rory. It's a sunny day. And you know what? Yesterday, spring entered into a new sub-stage. Before that, in spring, let's say, I still needed to keep my jacket or even a down coat on during the day to be just safe. But now you don't need it. Actually, now I'm just in shirt sleeves, no coat, no jacket at all, and let alone any down coat. You don't need it. This is a new stage of spring. And so that means it's getting warmer while tea leaves and tea buds are coming out more and better. So the local farmers are totally now engaged in their tea in one way or another. So today I have two tours, and this morning tour is how people pick the tea leaves. And this afternoon I have another tour. It's going to be on the production of tea. You know, farmers, they go around in the mountain to pick as much tea leaves as possible. And usually they later afternoon, sometimes, it depends on how many tea bushes you have. Some people, they just wrap up earlier in the afternoon, some later. But somehow, maybe around 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, you see just a lot of people. They just finish their picking of the day and go to a local business who acquires the tea from individual farmers.
小孩子要吃映山红，叫我把它摘。我好想喝，你喝呀。
映山红，干嘛？
热水倒一点点就有啊。
你们要映山红干什么？
还要吃。
要吃？
映山红可以吃。
这是指什么意思呢？小心点哦。
哦哦，拜喽。
兰兰，没必要太那个吧？你要映山红干什么 ？Look. This is a azalea.
怎么吃啊？我花瓣摘下来。花瓣摘下来吃。
Children want to observe the flowers.
我不用吃了。怎么吃啊，妈妈？吃叶子。
That man was carrying branches, Mindy. That's right. That man was carrying branches. The tea, not tea, sorry. Just the tree branches, twigs. And they collected them, bring them home as the fuel of their stove. 可以吃的。
可以。好吃吗？好吃啊！好吃吗？
真的啊？
我小时候经常吃。
Well, have a look. My daughter is now biting, chewing the flower petals of azalea. And my wife said this is what she did when she was a girl. And so they are now doing it, children. And have you done this? Actually, I have never done this. I have never even known of being able to do that.
酸的。这个不要哈，这片叶片不要。
好，我们继续。
我不知道的。
Tea grows in temperate zones. I am in southeastern China. This area provides good conditions for tea to grow. A tea bush requires humidity, moderate temperature, and better to also have the conditions of some altitude. Not too high and not too low, somewhere in the middle. And now we are hiking in this mountain area. And the altitude here is on average among all these mountains around here, 200 meters to 300 meters on average. But of course, there are some other higher mountains with peaks people like to hike onto. Yeah, so they can be in this Huangcheng mountain range area, they can be like 500 to 1,000 meters. 啊？
这里有这么多地梅，就像那个野草莓一样。等它成熟了，就是野草莓一样，红红的。
Oh.
很好吃的。
So have a look. Lan Lan just now was pointing at these weedy plants with white flowers that you can find everywhere in this area on the ground. So this is the weedy berry. It's a kind of a berry, wild berry. 可以吃的吧？
是啊。
Lan Lan said it's edible.
也很甜的。
You can eat it. 什么时候结果？
很快了，4月份，4月中旬吧。
4月中旬。You are going to see fruits of it very soon. A beautiful valley. Yes, Lisa, this is a valley. There are, look, the tea fields. Here's the trail. And you can find some also tombs. And we are around the Chinese Qingming Festival. It's the traditional time for Chinese people to visit the tombs of their ancestors. Yeah, that's what Qingming Festival suggests in the first place. And usually Qingming Festival is also the time of the real spring. People feel very comfortable to just go around. And you see a lot of people traveling and tourist attractions are getting really, really busy and crowded these days. Is that your daughter's friends from Shanghai or from here? Does she keep in contact with her friends from Shanghai? Maureen, that girl leading the way is the daughter of a friend from this village. She is not from Shanghai. You know what? I don't think a lot of people even want to think of moving to settle here in rural China from a city. No, people are very, actually, I would say, some people who are relatively more open-minded, they may think, yes, it's not a bad idea because it's natural. And you eat more just fresher and healthier vegetables and food, more, fresh air, more space for children, but not many people want to take a step to really go and settle in rural China. I would say that for the most people here in China, people are quite biased against rural life. If you talk about a settlement here, if you just talk about like coming here to visit and stay for a few days, it always sounds romantic and attractive. But coming here to settle is a different matter of subject. And I have met tremendous resistance in China from my family. Of course, mainly my family, because otherwise there would be just no so-called resistance. But of course, now my two children, who are 2.5 years apart, are contending for the remaining tea soup that my wife brewed before we started out. And they just want to drink some tea. Probably because of the temperature, they are getting thirsty very soon. All right, let's keep moving to see where the people are doing with their tea bushes.
Hi.
这是干什么？
再往前走，你放你包里面。
你放吧。
太热了。OK。
婷婷，大概往前还走多少？你妈在哪里了？哦，到了是吧？ Thank you, John. And I just now asked the girl leading the way, Ting Ting, and this is how I called her, Ting Ting. And Ting Ting just told me that it's around the corner. All right, let's see what around the corner here really means. And you know what? I told you that Qingming Festival is the time for Chinese people to sweep the tombs of their ancestors. And you hear now, from time to time, people setting off firecrackers and fireworks. And they are doing it at the tombs of their ancestors. 多肉？哪个？ Oh. My son just now spotted out some succulent plants. And my children, they are interested in succulent plants. They are taking care of their succulent plants at home. This is a kind of a succulent plant. Yes, 是多肉。
等一下，朵朵你等一下，这是一块的，朵朵你别拔，等会儿我把你拔。
好，
等会儿回来再拔。
Wow, it's getting really warm. It's getting warm and hot as you're hiking. But you know what? Yeah, I'm in my shirt sleeves. This is what you can do in the daytime, but still not something I advise you do here in the early morning. You'd better keep yourself warm in the early morning. You can be more relaxed maybe in the next stage of the spring. But now in the morning and also towards the dawn and especially in the evening and night, better be very careful. You know what? I have seen that how I have come a long way from being very and too relaxed on just keeping myself healthy years ago to now that I'm able to not to catch a cold easily for a long time and keep a healthy lifestyle in different ways, from what you eat and how you adapt to the temperature of the season, and also the routine of life. For example, when you go to bed and when you wake up. I'm pushing 40 now. All right, here is that lady who is the mother of Ting. She has picked the tea leaves here for how long? 婷婷妈妈什么时候来的？
她来了半个小时。
半个小时啊？哦。For half an hour. Let's see how much she has got here. 这些茶农的话哈，山上往上走应该还能看到更多哈。还有啊，你的茶园在这儿啊。Do they drink tea themselves? Deborah, they do drink tea themselves. But I told you that here in this village area, you don't find a tea house. Your equivalence of a cafe or coffee shop. You don't find that. People are more focused on working and making money out of tea. They don't really take it as something for recreational or activity or enjoyment. It's very interesting. People in the city, they do that more. Yeah, and the buyers of Chinese tea are usually from a city across China, not from rural China. In rural China, people usually they just have their tea. They can pick from their bushes, or they don't even drink tea. If they drink, they probably drink a very basic kind of tea that is usually very cheap, and people are not particular in the quality of tea. They kind of just know they drink tea. And yeah, this is what it is. And also in China, people drink a lot of herbal tea, different kinds of herbal tea or flower-scented tea. So for a connoisseur like my wife, she doesn't consider a scented tea of herbal tea as a classical type of Chinese tea. Because the herbal tea and scented flower flavored teas, these are processed with complicated flavors added into the tea. Just like how you enjoy your coffee, you prefer pure original flavor, simple to outsiders coffee. Here in China, people also prefer, if you are really into tea, you prefer the simple tea. And you can enjoy, you can appreciate the subtlety in the so-called blend or the simple flavor of tea. It's something similar.
一天这种茶采不了多少的喂。
Yeah, but it's for most people who just get into tea, it's very natural for them to start from the flower-scented tea or the herbal tea because there are just more flavors, and you can handle those tea in brewing with more options. Yeah, this is also very natural, but sometimes maybe you have to really push yourself into a next level of appreciating Chinese tea sometimes. Just like how we have come along to appreciate the coffee. So we usually drink just the coffee with different flavors. Those are, typical Starbucks coffee. But of course, here, it's no put down on Starbucks. Maybe I just generalized something. And, but, just help you understand what I mean. But actually, we pushed ourselves into maybe just a black coffee. And now we quite appreciate the black coffee. And really, we are starting to enjoy it more and more.
这个是高山茶，无污染的，没有污染。
Oh.
没有化肥。
Oh, are you hearing something? This is someone setting off firecrackers. Fireworks, actually, fireworks. So it's very common this time of the year. And when you're in Shanghai, a big city in Shanghai, you also hear it, but not at somebody's tomb because people there, they don't have their tombs built privately in the land. They have the public cemeteries. And nowadays, when you're in a public cemetery, you cannot set off firecrackers. But here in the city, or here in the village, there's much less restriction on that. And it's also very hard to control, actually. And my wife, Lan Lan, just now said, this is the the original Chinese tea with no pollution at a proper altitude. High mountain tea. She literally said high mountain tea with no pollution. Yeah, because this is not a tea field that is run by a company, by an organization. This is just something that is owned by the family here. And of course, this family, to which this lady is the most important role. She knows how to pick tea leaves and later process tea leaves very well. So later this afternoon, I will come back to her and see how she processes the tea leaves with different facilities.
今天太阳有点大哎哈。
今天挺热。明天可能又要阴下去了哈。
明天阴了，后天要下雨了，大雨。
来，给我们分享一下您的经验。
怎么讲呢？
先看一看头上的芽头。哦，在这儿。现在你采的都是2叶一芽，对不对？一叶一芽。哦，一叶一芽，对。
一叶一芽，基本上都是。这些还。
The tea buds
叶子芽都叶子
of the first flush, and each
叶子没出来。
bunch contains 1 bud and 1 leaf, or sometimes 1 bud, 2 leaves.
看都看不到的。
昨天你来采了吗？
昨天没有。
昨天没采。
哦。昨天在家里收藏。
Oh, Joanne, need to leave early. Oh, thank you. I'll tip when I'm on my computer. Thanks, Harry. Once again, interesting tour. Thank you, Joanne. Have a good time. See you next time. Do they pick buds and leaves? Deborah, they pick a combination of 1 bud and 1 leaf, or sometimes 1 bud, 2 leaves. Yeah, in practice, it's not so rigid and strict. Yeah. When you read from book, it tells you that the first flush is supposed to be 1 leaf and 1 bud, but actually in practice, it doesn't have to be. Just, things from the book are oftentimes different from what you have learned in practice. Like my wife, she says, when you have really good quality of Chinese tea, the temperature of water you use to brew the tea doesn't really matter that much. You can be more rest assured on just the normal boiling temperature, 90 degrees Celsius, doesn't matter.
这个有机茶叶，这个没有没有打农药的哈。这个茶叶，这像我们是看，这个属于半高山的茶叶，看得去看。
没打农药。
那个它这个茶叶要。
No pollution. Here means
它这个
chemical free, more organic. 苦中带甜。
这个苦中带甜的，这个喝进酒之后嘛，这个嘴巴这么扎几下嘛，这就甜味出来了就。
哦。
叶子掉下去。小哈。
采了40几分钟了哈，接近1个小时了，这点亮。
只有这一点点哦。你看。
She had a tea shop in Shanghai, Maureen. Maureen, my wife does. My wife used to run a tea shop in Shanghai, and she still runs a shop in Hangzhou, the tea capital of China.
到了白脸生蛋的时候哈，这个茶根上做出好多鸟蛋的。
这个茶怎么？
那个鸟窝。
鸟窝坐在这上面。什么季节啊？
就这里下去呗，就是这百鸟
生蛋
的时候。
那到了时候你就把它给打掉呗。
那给它打掉干嘛？
让它去啊？
让它去啊，它的这个里面浮深了大，浮小了。
是吧？
它在这茶棵上呀。
就接下去。
哎，
它喜欢在茶树上吗？
喜欢呀。
哇。
它喜欢在茶树上。我说啥
Sounds like a guerrilla warfare.
我说是啦。我说啊。
All right, let's cut back to those guys. Children are picking the tea leaves, and yesterday, actually, my two children, they went with their mother to my wife's family's own tea field to pluck the tea buds, and they got their own harvest, and each one had their own reward. That was one maybe 10 yuan, the other one 15 yuan, 是不是? Something like this. Depending on how much money, how much tea buds, tea leaves they got, and the quality of those. This girl obviously is more experienced. She is in grade 6. She has done this many times to help her mother.
让孩子们体验茶农的辛苦生活。
Fireworks, yes, folks. That was fireworks.
今天太阳特别大，很热。
We forgot to bring their caps, hats. Will you post the next tour on your YouTube channel? Yes, Maureen, I will do that. You know, especially after February the 11th, as Hegel then won't be available anymore, I will just publish all the tours and all my experience of life here in China on YouTube. Yes, I will keep doing it as if your Hegelers will be still there watching. And as I said, I want to share with you the Chinese 哪个？
走到那个上面去拍。
到上面去拍，景色更好，是吧？ Oh, they were just suggesting me to go further up on this trail to get better views. This is what they said. Let me see it. Wow. Have a look. Do you have access to YouTube and Facebook in China? There's no access to those platforms in China. But there's a way for you to do it, which in theory bears some risk. In theory. But that can still be a concern for people, and that's why not a lot of people want to do it. In China, even they have gained some access. And you see, I have always been a fan of language, of English and Chinese, and also the cultural things of the world. I think I first got to know those platforms many years ago. But you see, I never really got myself into those until just recently. Yes, for a reason. But of course, now when I look back, I regret not having done it earlier and not having been striking out a little bit more. All right, here is another bout of fireworks. 那里你说我爬不上去，为什么？这个好像看上去前面没多少路嘛，哈。All right, let me go up there. Maybe this is a bit different from the image. You may have perceived that farmers, they pick tea leaves here and there in one view across a vast area of tea fields. Yes, this is a mountainous region with only the local villagers. It's not an exemplary tea field attraction where you can see the image I just described here. You do see mainly nature, and if you keep hiking, yes, you will find people here and there picking tea leaves, and you have to really look for them if you want. But it's not something that you can just catch all those people from one angle in one place, because here the fields are scattered and they belong to different families. And I told you that now there aren't as many Chinese people who live in a village in rural China. Most of them are bound in a city for their life and business or for their family. Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm trying to catch my breath. Maybe I'm getting used to this new temperature mode in spring. And I have just done some hiking. I'm trying to catch my breath. Wow. Whew. I was here last time with the same lady in fall last year to harvest persimmons. This is my second time to come to this mountain, and originally I intended to show you this tour in the village that is the closest to where I am, with also some tea fields nearby. And I wanted actually to include that two parts into one, but later my wife suggested me to come here. So for that tour now, you don't really see the little rock hamlet. We skipped this part, and we are more focused on just the tea picking. And we just come here with children and friends to do this, and hopefully you have not been let down. It's so nice to see you there, especially the children, so healthy, free in nature. Harry, do you think you'd have the same focus on good food and fitness stick if you stayed in Shanghai? You know what, Jane, this is a great question, and I like questions because when there are questions coming to my mind, there were threads of thought that well up in my mind. This is the best part of a question. I think, personally, I think I moved here last year in June, right after Shanghai relaxed its draconian COVID lockdown and lockup. So later, you know that in the end of last year, this kind of a draconian lockdown and lockup was abandoned across China. So maybe people wonder if I have regretted settling here in rural China. My answer is definitely no. No, because it's not just about what you eat and what you get to see in nature. I would say that here I enjoy just more nature, and freedom. That's something that lacks hard in China, no matter where, even in cities. Where there are more people in the city, you actually find it more suppressing in one way or another, in different aspects. You know, this is my personal experience. It's about people. It's not really about, because of course in a city, there are more convenient facilities. There are more kicks, excitements. There are also more creature comforts. But I think to live a spiritual life is very, very important and very, very beneficial. All right, let me show you the other side of the view over there. There's a dog barking from the valley up there. You don't see people. There are just the mountains and the mountains. They are somewhere. In, based on Chinese culture, people here really kind of regard other people or even themselves as a kind of a position. So they like to always point their fingers at how you live. So in China, the status of a person is basically traditionally determined by how people look at you. And most people here are quite used to it. I believe somehow in the beginning, when they were really young, in early stage, they struggled with that, I'm sure. But most people, you know what, they have been like boiled or boiling frogs. They have been swallowed in this environment, which is mostly, believe it or not, in a family instead of in a society. Actually, the answer of the culture is not something you actually find in a society in a large scale. Most people, they talk about society. Actually, the answer is in each individual and also in each family. There are all the answers in a family. Believe it, trust me. 好，这边再上去我就不上了，有点喘了。下来继续看你们采茶吧。哇！今天因为气温上来了，一下子有点不太适应，刚才有点喘。Are you retired now? What did you do in Shanghai? Oh, Deborah, I give English tutoring as my income now. And I started doing this back 3 years ago after the COVID outbreak. Before that, I did different jobs, but the last job I did before I converted into the English tutoring, let's say business, is a tour guide. I worked as a tour guide before the year 2020. But after that, the inbound tourism in China was totally dead. There was not a single demand of inbound tourism for quite a long time, probably until just recently. And you get to see a little bit of it. Oh. There are just a lot of have a look. This is what I'm treading on. No steps. And there are leaves and rocks piling on each other. So it's a slippery, and you can tell that I'm from a city. Well, just have a look. They are so dedicated to tea picking. 兰兰，跟我们再讲讲茶叶的事情，分享一下。来 ，Let me get closer to my wife, who is a tea expert and also a healthy life practitioner, to see what she has to say.
哇，好棒啊！看你女儿采的。
啊？
看你女儿采了多少？哇，我采的有半两了吗？
哇，
妈妈，
给我看一下。
有半两了。
来。
基本上一天的话就是采不了。
这一点。
如果像他们经常采的，一天哈，一个人也就是采个1斤2斤茶。
很棒，这是你的收获。
他们到农村来体验茶农的这个生活啊，跟城市的孩子是不可能的。
My wife just now commented that now children here in rural area, they're able to have more experience with people, with nature, and they're able to mold and grind their grit. For them to know that money doesn't grow on trees. This is what my wife just now said in Chinese. Okay.
他这样子花钱的话，他会更加的，就是不会乱花钱。像他自己采的茶叶，然后赚了多少钱，然后他就自己拿去卖，卖的钱拿来买零食吃。他觉得，哎呀，这个吃起来更香了。
这个朋友讲 Debra， 他说，我刚才不是说嘛，英语里面有句谚语叫 "Money doesn't grow on trees"， 字面含义是钱不长在树上。对于我们汉语就是说天上不会掉钱是吧？不会掉钱，就是说钱不是唾手可得的。但是他说了，on tea trees，但是钱在茶树上有。I like that, Debra. Yes.
要把它采下来，你不采也是没钱的。那我们在家采吗？对，你采吧。像他们老百姓，一个茶季3个月嘛，也就采个8000啊1万的吧，也差不多，也就这点钱了，很辛苦啊！你看早上很早就上山了，然后中午就随便中午在山上吃一点，然后下午采好，晚上回去卖茶叶，很辛苦，3个月才赚1万多块钱。
Lan Lan said, the local villagers work very hard on their tea, and they're able to make some cash out of the tea bushes for 3 months during spring for different types of tea. And over the course of 3 months, the average income of a local farmer as an individual from those tea bushes is about 10,000 RMB, which is like 1,500 US dollars for 3 months without any stop. They work every day, and they work from early in the morning till sometime towards dawn. Towards dusk, not dawn, sorry.
你看他们还要从这个高山上把茶叶背下去，现在是采的少，多的时候那种大茶叶很大了，有的挑几十斤嘞。
Yes. Yeah. And this is the stage for people to pick the tea buds and first a few flushes of tea. And later there's the time for them to pick the rough, the bigger tea leaves. Yeah. In that case, there's more load for them to carry after their hard work every day. Because, in that case, after 1 day work, they get bags full of tea leaves. They have to carry those to somewhere down the mountain, of course.
你看他辛苦啊，他白天要采茶，晚上要做茶， 早上很早要起来要包装茶，你看他，他一天没睡3个小时啊。
Yeah, the lady with us here now, she is a hard worker. She now sleeps less than 3 hours a day. She is very busy. She picks tea leaf. She looks after her shop. When in the morning her husband is away for some acquisition of new supply for daily consumption. And she has to cook, look after children. She has to process tea later in the afternoon towards midnight, sometimes small hours of the next day. So, yeah, it's a typical story of the farmers here in China. But you know what? There's something wrong in this. Something is wrong. But this is another different topic.
老百姓赚点钱不容易啊。也就这2天值钱呗，茶叶。清明之前哈，清明之后就茶叶就不值钱了哈。大了。
Dee said if you want to be paid by YouTube, you need a minimum number of hours viewed. I hope Larry joined Facebook Live virtually, see the world. Okay. Thank you, Karen. I need to learn more about Facebook, and I will try to see how I can do. And yes, feel free to give me advice. Give me suggestions and even critical suggestions. Wow, just have a look at my son.
他想多赚点钱买零食。
He wants to have more money out of this business for more snack. This is what she is obsessed with now. Some more snack. My son is the top student in his class. He is in grade 3. In the latest examination, he finished the top. And when he was in Shanghai, in a class with more kids, he was also the one at the top. He is doing so far a good job academically, but of course it's still early for him. There's a long way to go. Look at Maureen's comment above. Okay, thank you for your reminding. Many familiar faces of tour guides. Thank you, Maureen. Thank you for this link. I will come back and have a look. Yes, thank you, everyone. You know, to make money and for children to have experience and know how to make money is a good experience. Money is not a bad thing. But a lot of people have taken it wrong in the sense that they think an individual or the human society is based on materials. You know what? Actually, I would say that this is a bad way. If someone just based on their life on materials solely, this is bad. This is even dangerous. This can lead to a lot of different disasters and banes of someone's life, to be honest. Of course, everyone lives on some materials. Money, food, right? Things you use, and also some creature comforts, of course. But what makes the people different is not that. What is really important here is not what makes everyone the same. What is really important is what makes everyone different. And that is how you think. And what do? This is not something easy for people to understand. And this is, I would say, a global question. This is the eternal question of the humanity. But of course, here, this is more evident. And it has more ground here. That's for sure. You know, I like to talk about people. I like to see people. I like to learn about people. I like philosophies of both Chinese and Western. And I told you that in early years, I was more influenced by Chinese philosophy, but probably in the past years, I have been very much educated by Western philosophies. And I think I have gained a lot of benefits, which now turns out to be the ultimate source of happiness for my life.
我像他们这么大的时候啊，那个时候小时候茶季都要放假的，也是跟着奶奶上山采茶的。
Yeah, so keep up your values. It's really good. Of course, every coin has two sides, but don't get taken away by merely repeating that every coin has two sides, then negating the minor bad effects of a good system.
那时候小时候在山上都是晒得黑不溜秋的，然后你看只要是采茶，这个手会有茶渍，黑不溜秋。
来，过来看一下，来。
我才稍微踩了一下，你看。
This is what my wife has got on the finger after reaping some tea leaves. This is the stain you get. Look, it's dark. It's the stain. 这是脏吧，灰吧？
不是脏，是茶渍。
茶渍啊。I asked my wife if the dark thing on her finger is the grime, the dirt. She said no. This is something organic from the tea. Yes. Oh. Chlorophyll. Chlorophyll, yes, that's right. This is the green elements in the tree. And to process tea, you need to sometimes get rid of the excessive or unnecessary green elements in the tea leaves. With temperature and oxygen in the machine, you can increase the mellowness in that process by eliminating the undesirable portion of the green elements. Yeah, this is the rudiment of processing the tea. Yeah. Later this afternoon, you're going to see it. Yeah. And this is the tea season. Let's learn more about Chinese tea, and I will be more focused on that. Yeah. This is a part of the healthy lifestyle, drinking tea. Yes. This kind of tea is in high demand these days in Chinese domestic market. My wife told me that the first flushes of Chinese tea are not for import. The Chinese tea that is exported to different countries is usually the rough tea, the bigger tea leaves in the later stage in the spring. Because of course, as China is the cradle of Chinese of tea culture, and hopefully that is right. I haven't verified that, but let's say if this is true, China as the cradle of tea culture, there are more people who are more particular in their standard of tea. So the expensive first flushes of spring tea are mostly consumed by Chinese tasters here in China, not for export. Yeah.
这2天清明，所以你看他们好多人都上山去祭拜那个。
对，这个人我刚才看到了。
对，上坟。
上坟。All right, guys, it has been 1 hour. You know what? I want to join them in experiencing plucking the tea leaves. Let me call this tour an end for now. And we have just a few days before Hagel is available. So that's something regretful. But, you know, we have met. We have known each other virtually on Hagel. So, of course, I'm personally very grateful for the presence of Hagel. And it's just an amazing experience for me so far. And let's keep it on in a different way. And I will come back on another tour on Hagel before it's not available. All right, guys. Can you say goodbye to people while watching on you? Ting Ting? Dodo?
Goodbye.
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 Goodbye, everyone. Catch you later.